Hey guys, my name is Matt. I'm a Chicago wedding photographer and filmmaker, and this is the story of how I got into photography and filmmaking. To tell my story best, I need to give you guys a little bit of background. I grew up in a family that didn't go camping. We didn't really go hunting. We didn't do anything all that adventurous. What we did for fun was vacation in Florida. And that's great and all. I love the beach. Don't get me wrong. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. But there's some sort of adventurous piece missing to a vacation like that. See, I was the type of kid that couldn't sit still. I was hyper. I was always wanting to do stuff, always out and about. I was a naturally curious kid. So for the first 19 years of my life, I never experienced camping, never saw mountains, and didn't really do that much exploring or adventure. Fast forward after my first year of college, at the age of 19, I decided that I wanted to go out to Moody Bible Institute in Spokane, Washington. I was out there studying originally to become a pastor, and during that time, because of all the adventures that I went on with my friends and continue to go on to this day, I decided that I wanted to pick up a camera. But the biggest story that's the most important in my journey as to why I wanted to pick up a camera revolved around the stars. See, living in Chicago, I have never really experienced stars like you might see out west. So there was this one night I've been eager to get out and explore with some friends. It was mid-October, and Glacier National Park was only 4 hours away from our house. So at 10 o'clock at night, I'm cooking dinner really late. Friend gets home from work, and I'm telling him how I want to go to Glacier. And he's like, dude, I've been meaning to go to Glacier. I was like, dude, let's go tonight. So we packed up our bags in like an hour. All I had at the time was a comforter. Now, bear in mind, mid-October, Glacier National Park, not necessarily the best conditions in the mountains. Freezing cold. It's probably a good 20 degrees. However, there's no moon out. And so for the first time in my life, we decided, we would go and lay by these rocks. And as we were laying down there to sleep, we would just look up at the stars, and I couldn't even express how many stars I had seen. It was so many shooting stars, and how gorgeous it was. It was beyond anything I've ever seen. And I remember looking up that night and wishing I could just live in that moment forever, and I couldn't. And I'm so beyond grateful for the memory that I have. But I always wonder, what would it have looked like to be able to capture that night? And so I started shooting with my iPhone because I wanted to capture everything, but it just wasn't doing enough. And Black Friday rolls around about a month later. And after that adventure, I decided, I'm not going to let any more go by without capturing it well. And so I just wanted to share what I had been able to see back home, because it was all so new to me. So I spend 1/3 of the money I have in my bank account, purchase a camera on Black Friday, and just decide I'm going to start capturing our adventures. So I started posting a lot of landscape photography at the beginning. I originally got into weddings specifically when I remembered 3 photographer and filmmakers. It was a whole big team that had captured a few of my cousin's weddings. Now, they did these things called same-day wedding video edits. And so we would see wedding photos and video on the projector screen of the day. And I thought, who better to talk about weddings with than these guys? And my original reason why I wanted to get into weddings, first of all, was to make more money so I could do adventure photography and filmmaking, get better gear, be able to travel more. I had no intention of actually pursuing weddings. I tell people all the time, there's nothing like climbing a dangerous mountain that makes you feel really alive. The only thing outside of climbing a mountain that I think is more adventurous is honestly love. Some of you do know, some of you don't. I also work part-time as a mental health counselor and like to work with married couples specifically. Why, you might ask? Well, I think that there is nothing more immense than a loving relationship. The only other thing I could think of that's second to that is climbing a mountain. But nothing comes close to love, right? Like a mountain, there's an adrenaline rush, there's hills, there's valleys, there's obstacles, but there's, those summit mountaintop experiences where you're just happy to be there and you're taking it all in. I think it's the same thing in a loving relationship, and there's nothing more incredible for me than to be able to capture the most important day in almost everybody's lives. The day that everybody grows up dreaming about, the day that you say yes to that person that you've been dreaming about. And so for me, as much as I love to capture adventures, I found myself loving to capture the adventure of love. Because I don't think that there's anything more incredible, more powerful than that type of relationship. Now, I still do love to capture my own adventures with my friends. Every year we go and we try and do some sort of winter camping adventure in January on New Year's. And it's a lot of fun and it keeps that adventurous spirit going. So that's just a little bit of my story. Thank you guys so much for listening, for tuning in, and for hearing it. Can't wait to help tell yours.